Here you are, the head basketball coach of the perennial winner from University of North Carolina, Roy Williams, and you go on your local radio show that you do weekly, and you say, in fact, you are coaching one of the least gifted teams that you've ever had, and that explains why, in fact, you're not winning as many games as you normally do and why it seems to be in a slump. Here's the thing, though. You recruited the team. You put the team together. This is your squad. You didn't inherit the players. You actually selected the players. Now, granted, he's had some of his players leave college early for the pros, and, more power to them. And, they were obviously top talent, and he's left with maybe some of the folks who would be riding the bench a little bit more. But nevertheless, this is still your team, and you're talking about how they're not gifted. Well, that's really a reflection upon you. The reason I bring it up is I think CEOs can oftentimes point to the fingers of their employees when they want to place blame on something that occurred operationally within the company. And while that may be true internally, that is not something you really want to go out with publicly, because ultimately people are going to look at you, whether it's investors, customers, or your partners, vendors, and so forth, and say, well, isn't that your responsibility? You're ultimately in charge of hiring the right people, putting them in the right positions, and setting them up for success. In this case, Roy Williams really put himself in a position where everybody's scratching their head going, this is your team. This is a reflection on you. And if you say they're not gifted, then why did you recruit them in the first place? Now, again, he had a lot of extenuating circumstances with players leaving early, but in any case, there would have been a far better way for him to state that on radio. He could have said something to the fact of, look, we had a lot of our top players leaving, and we're asking a lot of our young students to step up early than we anticipated to actually start to play full minutes of North Carolina basketball. And it's going to take some time. That'll at least give you enough air cover with your boosters and your fans to understand why you're having still a winning year, just not the normal amount of wins that you normally would expect the Tar Heels to have. But nevertheless, Roy Williams just created a mini crisis of his own doing because of some silly, arbitrarily, and I imagine off-the-cuff phrase. Well, it's a perfect example about how a CEO can really make matters worse by, I don't know what else to say, by being stupid.